landing was very spectacular. I mean, coming down, riding through the plasma, I saw all the colorful light outside of the capsule, and then the Gs built up, so up to 4 Gs, and then the Gs came down again, and the parachutes came out, and it was a lot of like spinning around. In the beginning, I was a bit like, that was the moment I was most concerned about. How would I react to all the spinning when the parachutes come out? Would I be seasick or motion sick, and would I be throwing up afterwards? But I was very happy that when we splashed down in the sea, that everything was fine, and I felt good, and it was a lot of euphoria. We made it. Gravity feels heavy. I mean, there are advantages of gravity. For example, my food stays on my plate, and I can have salad next to meat, and so it looks nicer than all this mixed stuff that we have in space. But I feel gravity, my head is heavy, I feel it on the neck. Also when walking, I need to get used to gravity again. I think at the moment I'm looking forward to meeting my family, my friends, enjoying nature. It's just a beautiful time currently in Germany. The sun is out and I can smell nature. Up in space, my nose was always congested due to the fluid shift. So like being able to smell again and to experience the richness and the flavor of planet Earth is just like the best I'm looking forward to. I believe during Expedition 66 we took more than 120,000 photos. So, and if I think back on my holiday photos, it's not the same amount, but it always takes a lot of time until I go back and look through them. So at the moment, I am not planning to look immediately my photos. I think it will take a while, but definitely there will be a best-of selection when I have the time for it. Yes, I mean, flying to space, I believe, changes everyone. You arrive in space, you look down to planet Earth, and you feel like, wow, now I've reached my dream. Now I'm in space. I'm far away from all the problems down on planet Earth. But at the same time, you see with your eyes and you feel with your heart what you learned as an engineer as cold numbers. Planet is changing, the climate is getting warmer. All this is visible from space. And so immediately, once you're up there, you feel this burden that you carry with you. It's like you're an ambassador. You need to tell the people. You need to remind people, we are one planet, we are one team, it's one spaceship. We need to work together. Otherwise, we cannot face the challenges of our planet Earth. Definitely. I think the responsibility for like seeing or living all this experience from space, it definitely changes the character. And it also, I have an urge in myself to communicate about this one and just remind people, just let's focus on the most important things in life, and let's get a little bit further away from the small, tiny problems that we have in our daily life. Well, I think every day was a highlight, and just the rocket ride to space, arriving up there, just experiencing this fabulous station in 3 dimensions. Cupola, looking down at planet Earth, I think that was the highlight of every day. And then the spacewalk. Spacewalk was just like incredible. It's like entering a new world. I mean, on one side, you're already in space, you're floating, but then dressing up in this heavy, heavy spacesuit, opening the door and just stepping outside, and just, wow, fabulous. And the ride back to our planet Earth. So everything was fabulous. Yes. I think next time I would prepare myself better for what I see from space. So I arrived up there and I think I know our planet Earth. I'd like to travel, and we had Google Earth and our maps up there. So, but I think I want to study better our planet Earth, to become better prepared to see, to understand what I see on our planet Earth. So at the moment, I thought I look down and I will understand immediately, but definitely I need to talk to our specialist for Earth observation, our satellite specialist, to get a better training, to understand more how to read our planet Earth from space. So science is the main focus of our space flight. Flying to space is not to enjoy the beautiful view down to planet Earth. I think the satellites do a better job than us. But performing science in space, it's a unique platform, unique chance that we can run experiments for the benefit of humans down on planet Earth and give such a huge spectrum from human physiology, biology, up all the way to material sciences, testing new technologies that we will need to fly further to space, like doing exploration, arriving on the surface of the moon, and later on paving the way for a flight to Mars. There's so much that we can learn, that we can only learn in space, and that will bring a lot of benefit for us even down here on the ground.
Well, hello everybody, it's Scott Roberts from Explore Scientific, and I'm here with Kent Martz today, and we wanted to just give you an idea of things that are going on here at Explore Scientific with the Explore Alliance. We were both up last night trying to see the meteor storm that all of you were probably trying to check out as well. As far as I can tell, there was no meteor storm, but it was fun to be out there anyhow. I did get a break in the clouds here in northwest Arkansas, and I did see about 4 or 5 meteors fall. 2 of them were like gold color, which I thought looked spectacular. What was your experience like, Kent?
We were up in across the border in Missouri, about 10 miles, and much darker than it is around here where your apartment is or my house. Yeah. And a good friend of mine's. And 22 years ago, it was really dark, and you could see a lot of stars. Light pollution has become a thing up there, and it's Bortle 4. Probably used to be a low Bortle 3 20 years ago. So it's had some degradation, especially to the south, and weirdly to the north. I mean, it's gotten worse all around, but it was cloudy. We were in watching, TV and just messing around, and my wife had went up, and we were out in his man cave, and we'd mess around and go out every 15 minutes and look up and go back inside and fiddle fart, and then go back outside. And in about 15 minutes, from between 11:30 and 11:45, the clouds, when we went out 11:30, the clouds, Scott, were just solid. And 15 minutes later, it's like
you thought you were done.
Yeah. And it was like they were vaporized, just gone, right? And so we, got out there on sage lounges and laid back and looked up, and I was facing to the south and he was facing to the north. So we were trying to get full sky coverage. And it was, there were clearly some very short-lived, they were real bluish to my eye and to Todd's eye. And they all were radiant. The radiant was clearly back into booties. And so I'm confident those were tall Herculids, I guess is what they would be. And then we also saw 2 very bright yellow meteors that were moving south to north, away from the radiant. So I don't think they were of the forecast meteor showers. They're a different color. They lasted a lot longer and were significantly brighter and moving faster. So I'm pretty confident that that's the case, that they were not part of the meteor shower. So we stayed up until 1 o'clock, a little bit after, which was an hour. It was supposed to be midnight here. Was supposed to be the peak. And we saw between 10 and 15. We weren't really counting, but probably a dozen that were radiant, projected back to, the constellation that the radiant was supposed to be coming from. So it was better than not seeing them. Was it a meteor storm like I've seen once? No. Was it still cool to see a bunch of little meteors, more than you would on any average night? Absolutely. And I got to spend some time with a friend I don't see very often. So that was awesome as well.
That's probably the best part right there.
It
So
was. Yep,
I'm
absolutely.
curious, you mentioned that you've seen a meteor storm before or not?
Yeah, we saw it actually a meteor storm from there, and we were talking about it. Probably was
When
in
was that?
19. The Leonids are in December, November, right? The Leonids are in December, whichever one it was. Let's just see here. Orionids. Yeah, it would have been the Leonids because it was in November.
Hmm.
And it was cold. Boy, it was a cold, cold, cold night.
Yeah.
And we stayed up all night. And all of a sudden, they started picking up. And, I don't know how many, it was thousands an hour. I mean, and it went on for about 45 minutes. I mean, it was like all over the sky. And we just sat there in awe. And then it just started petering off again real quick. And it was over. And it was really weird. While that was happening, none of us felt we completely lost the idea that we were cold because we were
Yeah,
just in
right.
such awe. My oldest son, who's 33, would have been 10 or 9 years old. His boys are in that same age group, and it was cool to see. And it was, it's like a comet. Until you see a great comet, you can't really understand what it looks like. And seeing a meteor storm like that open up, and none of them weren't long trains. They were just little.
Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw too. I saw two gold um, meteors that were pretty bright,
Yeah,
and then I saw a couple of the other faint blue ones that you're talking about.
yeah.
So
So we probably were, what's that going to be? 40, 30 miles north of you. So we saw the same ones you did.
yeah,
And Todd and I would sit there and wonder how many people just saw that. How many people around North America saw those two
yeah.
meteors. So there's at least two of us. Well, three of us saw it because Todd was one of them.
Well, there's more than that because I was out. My apartment's right next to a golf course, and so we walked out onto the golf course, and I thought I would be the only guy out there. And pretty soon there was like a family came out, and then there was another family came out. Somebody came out with their dog. So this is 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, so it was but it was great.
I it's great that people went out, but gee, they get disappointed. And Todd and I were talking about this, the impact of, they predict, oh, this comet Neowise is going to be a great comet, and it was a comet you could see, but it wasn't, it wasn't Comet West or Comet Bennett or Hakatake, some of those, and it's like the weather forecast. I'm afraid people lose confidence in the forecast, and they have to remember that,
Well,
this is not a defined science. I mean, this is not. There's a lot of
no,
variables.
no. Yeah, trying to
Yeah,
decide whether or not you're going to hit a clump of cometary debris, okay,
yeah,
as you're going around the sun. Uh, I mean, we did see something, so they didn't miss it entirely, but
correct. And what's cool is they may not have seen a meteor storm, but they got to see 5 or 6 or whatever,
yeah,
and which is enough to inspire them to do it again.
right.
And the last few years, all the meteor showers have come on full moons, and
Yeah, this was during a new moon.
this was
Yeah, that's
during the
right.
new moon, so that helps things as well. Because you have, even in light polluted areas, you still have a chance of seeing more than you would, with a full moon up there washing
Right.
everything out. So, and Scott, we do have a picture tomorrow on First Light Chronicles, and I showed it to you. He doesn't want me to. Kevin Shank, who's one of our dealers,
Yeah, he said
nature,
not to show it yet, right?
right? His
Okay.
16, his daughter turned 16 the day before, so his 16-year-old daughter was shooting a time lapse of the sky, and they were going to do a time lapse rotation,
Yeah.
and he got effectively a bolide
Yeah, I
with
mean,
two.
it's beautiful,
It's
really. So
beautiful, very
hope you
large.
recorded it. There is a website you can report such things.
Right.
And let's see if I can give you that
And
link here.
I've reported that before, when I've seen them. I can't remember what it is, but
Meteorological. Yeah, here it is. Report a fireball. So, for those people that see fireballs, including ourselves, we should report them
because that's
on this
science.
website.
Because science.
Because science. That's right. That's right.
Yes. So it was, it was all good. It was good to get out and just do something.
Yeah.
And doing it with old friends makes it even better,
Right.
But it was,
Well, speaking of friends, we've got a number of them watching right now. And so we have Mike Wiesner, who logged in first, and he says, "Howdy, Meteor Watchers. I saw a few last night." I think that's all of us. Andy Miller's with us. Astro Bear is with us. Paul Burgard. He says, "It was cloudy here, so I couldn't see a thing. I was wondering if a meteor shower developed."
the short answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay. No. The short
storm.
answer is yes. The long answer is it wasn't a storm.
It wasn't a storm. It was a shower, though. Actually, it was 2 showers simultaneously. So, Andy Miller says, "I saw 4 in 40 minutes. 3 were bright." Astro Bear says, "I probably saw 35 over 3 hours. One almost a fireball. A good show, not the best I've seen." But Paul Burgard says, "The storm is what I was really curious about. Thanks for the info."
Scott, talking about the difference in where you were, the forecast on the East Coast was supposed to be at 1 a.m. and Kevin lives in Virginia. And he said that the peak for him was around midnight, which would have been 11 o'clock here.
An hour earlier.
Yeah, an hour earlier. He said there was a very, very well-defined peak that happened. He says around 11 o'clock midnight his time, which would have been 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock our time.
And
I didn't even go out till 11:30 myself. So.
And we were clouded out. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Larson says he didn't have a storm, but maybe 4 in 35 to 40 minutes. He says, "I see that many on a normal night."
Right. That's how many you see on any summer night if you go out and look if it's dark.
Right. You know how many people have never seen a meteor fall in the sky? I'm stunned, really. And that just tells me a lot of people just don't regularly look at the sky. Amateur astronomers see a lot of things because I think we sort of naturally keep one eyeball on the sky even if we're driving. And I have seen beautiful bolide meteors, 3 or 4 of them here in Arkansas that, really stick out in my mind. One of them was an intense blue color that I saw from the Explore Scientific parking lot. And
or it's bad light pollution.
That's true, because you got a shopping center right there. And then I saw a beautiful green one that fell as I was driving towards the airport one night here. And then I recall another one that exploded in the sky as I was driving out towards Marble.
Right, where you used to have your trailer out there.
Yeah, where I used to have the Airstream. That's right.
So we saw one. We were Todd and I and Paul Anderson and was that it? Or was there somebody else? I think that was it. We're driving. We were just leaving Northwest Arkansas, headed to the Winter Star Party, probably in 1999.
Okay.
2000, therefore 1999, 2000, and we were coming where the Pinnacle area is, Scott, coming around that corner, coming south, and there was this massive blue-green bolide running due west. It was just sort of, it's
just a train,
slow, and left a big old smoke trail.
That's awesome.
And everybody was like, and we had cell phones then. And it was like, did you see that? We were on the phones
you should have been getting pictures of it.
Scott, there were cell phones.
Real cell phones. Yeah.
Okay. This is in the year 2000, Scott. This was
smartphones.
This was a flip phone with an antenna, or a slide phone with an antenna.
I see.
Yeah.
You forget that
So
we didn't have those things back then. That's right. Jim Norwood's watching. Centil's Nagapan's here with us. My sister, Teresa, is watching.
hi, sis.
Hi, sis. That's right. Norm Hughes. Louis Luma. Hola, Scott. And anyways, I think he's giving me greetings, so very nice. Chris Larson reports, all of mine were faint, blue, and short, and I only saw ones that were near the zenith. So,
Yeah, that was the same for us.
yeah.
There was one, Scott, that was really weird. I happened to be looking right at Arcturus, basically,
Okay.
and all of a sudden there was this bright light. It was a blue dot, got
Yeah.
bigger and bigger and bigger, and then disappeared. And I was like, okay, that was one that was coming straight at us.
At you.
Yeah, it was coming straight at us, and it was weird. It was like it's just a blue light that got bigger and bigger, and then
Right.
disappeared. And it was like, what was that? Oh, I know what that was. It was literally coming straight at us.
Might have been a UAP or a UFO. You just never
Oh,
know.
it could have been. It was actually, because I cannot identify it, and no one else can either. So clearly, it's unidentified phenomenon.
Anyways, I've seen some straight-on ones before myself. They're bizarre.
It was
Jeff
bizarre.
Wise says, my eyeballs thought they saw 20 of them. And Egon said, hi, Scott and Kent. West Coast was totally socked in for the days. So, yeah.
That's always the case. It's like we get these great things,
Yeah.
and then it's like, ha, it's cloudy. You don't get to see it. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, it does
So,
happen, that's for sure.
what else?
Eclipses, all kinds of stuff. Anytime you buy new telescope gear, which, by the way, Explore Scientific is extending its sale. Okay,
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah. So you want
So
to talk a
the-
little bit about that, Kent?
The supernova sale, which has some fantastic pricing. Getting this sheet here. So we approached this sale a little bit differently, Scott. Instead of just offering things at discount, we put packages together. So we have 4 packages. One of them is Exos 100-02, which comes for regular price, but it comes with a power bank flashlight to power it, and an azimuth adjustment plate, so you can make very fine adjustments to it. So that is like a $250 value. So if you bought the packages together, it would be call it $250 more. So it'd be $850. You're getting it for $599 for $600. And that's a really nice package because the Exos 100 comes with a C-cell battery pack that after 10 or 12 viewing sessions, you've paid for the power bank because C-cells cost so much.
Viewing sessions, but anyways.
Yeah, viewing sessions, because you're only going to get one viewing session out of those 8 C-cells, so it pays for itself really quickly.
A Kent Mart's viewing session, which is several hours long.
That probably is true. So, okay, 24 viewing sessions. If you go out 3 times a week or month, okay, you're going to pay for it fairly quickly. But the key is the battery. You could buy a battery pack and buy the tips from somewhere, and we know from experience that tips may or may not work. These tips are specially designed to work with the Exos 100, the PMC8 system overall. They're spring loaded. They're the exact right size. They're guaranteed to work. And we literally have brought in people's power banks that they, lithium ion power bank and the cables they have and tested them. And we simply switch to ours and plug it in and it works perfect. And it's hard to believe that much can be caused by power, but when the tips aren't right or, the voltage is not clean, it creates problems. So package number 2 is an ED80, an Essential Series 80 millimeter f6 telescope. Comes with the hard carry case, which the telescope retails for $8.99. You get the carry case free. The carry case is $229 retail, so you're getting a $229 off of ordering those two things. Another, great package. Package 3 is an Exos 2 GT with PMC8, and it comes with the power bank flashlight as well. So that's a $139 value added on for the $1,000 price. You're going to get $139 back. So that'd be what, almost 14% off. I guess it would be close to something like that. And then we also have the standing buy any 4 waterproof eyepieces, and you get a carry case for free. So you get our eyepiece carry case for free. That's a $50 value there. So buy 4 eyepieces from the waterproof line and you get a carry case. And then we have all the focal extenders that are in stock or on sale for, I think it was 20% off. And we also have the 2-room pop-up observatory tent as well. That's on sale for 20% off. So that's a $223.95 value on a regular price of $279. So, nice pricing there.
Right.
Buy yourself a birthday or,
That's right. Don't buy it when new moon is about to arrive.
That's true.
You will be clouded out.
So, but buy yourself some stuff, and
good now because new moon's already passed, right?
The solstice is coming up, so buy yourself a solstice festival gift.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
For sure. So this sale, Scott.
Go ahead.
This sale will end June 30th.
June 30th. Okay. Well, there you go. Beatrice Hines joins us. She said, "Hello, everyone. I wasn't sure if there's going to be a show tonight, but thank goodness there is one." So, and I was calling him Astro Bear. This is Astro Beard, but the D is underneath the Astro Bear.
That's what I figured was going on.
Yep. He said he saw a fireball when he arrived in Annapolis. So good, I stood outside to wait for the boom that never came as it lit up the sky. Egon says his son Jack says hello. He's a high school teacher in Victorville. Wow. And said he got to see a few good ones last night. Yeah. So Jack, I hope that you are teaching your students in high school astronomy. So, and Beatrice wants to know if I'm recovered. Yes, I'm recovered. After I did the Carolyn Shoemaker tribute, I came back from Arizona where it was almost 90 degrees and almost zero humidity. It's not quite that, but very dry weather. And then I flew back into Arkansas where it was like low 60s and lots of humidity. And I got like a cold or a flu or something like that. And so that put me out for a couple of days. I just didn't want to come into the office with a sore throat and, exhaustion. So
how many Petri dishes did you fly in? 5?
I don't know, but it is true that no one on the airplanes or in the airport is wearing masks anymore. So, maybe I should have. Jim Norwood reports he went outside in the heart of Tulsa. The light pollution was depressing, so I just went back inside. Bortle 7, maybe worse. But you know what? You can still see, even in the worst, most light polluted areas, sometimes you can still see some amazing Meteor Falls or bolides. A story that I have is I came back from Los Angeles Airport, LAX. This is this is not like on the outskirts of Los Angeles, a very light polluted area. And I was driving down I-5, which is lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay, they have lots of lights on I-5, on this, 8-lane or maybe wider now freeway. and I'm driving home, and as I do, I sort of just always in the periphery of my eyes, I kind of look wider than I might otherwise, I guess, and I see the road light up, okay? And then I
Wow.
start to see the shadows moving, and I go, there's something with a big light moving over us right now. And I saw a giant bolide go straight down I-5 as far as I could see it, you know. And I look around to see if anybody else is seeing this, and no one else is. You know, they're all like, you know, changing channels on their radio station or whatever, you know. And no one else is seeing this. I believe that I was the only witness to that particular bolide. Um, Mike Wiesner wants to know how many people have heard a meteor, not a boom, just a hissing sound. I heard one exactly like that in the 1960s. Mike, I saw one go overhead. I'll have to tell you the whole story sometime, but I was in a logging camp just above near Paradise, California, between Paradise and Chico. You remember Paradise where the big fire happened? Anyways, they have some very dark skies out there, and I took out my Coulter 13-inch Dobsonian, set it up, and I was expecting, to have an uninterrupted, beautiful, dark night. I'm out there by myself, and all of a sudden, I see lights coming, and I think there are these guys that drive these kind of monster trucks with all the lights on them, you know, big banks of lights, and I thought that's who was jamming through the forest, okay, because there was some clearing, and I was going, okay, these guys are going to be, what, drunk, you know, and this kind of stuff's running through my head, and I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say or how I'm going to deal with them if they come up and want to see what the heck I'm doing, and so I'm waiting, and all of a sudden, this wide in the sky is a bolide coming straight overhead, sparks coming off of it, and a loud hissing noise, okay? And I thought I was the only guy that I knew of that had ever seen it. Dan Scoff also happened to be in California at the same time I was there. He also saw it from, I don't know, 80 miles away or something. So, you know, that was, we were matching up stories because he had seen something very similar. And I was going, well, that can't be a, you know, coincidence, you know. So anyways, yeah, you can hear them. Some people do see sonic booms. Some people see smoke trails. You can see them explode and go into a couple different pieces. I've seen that before. Oh, you're saying that, Jeff? I see it, right? I saw one split into two with two different tails. Yeah, that's awesome. But I've only heard one time, and that was it. So, and it looks like Beatrice has also heard one as well. So that's very cool. You can hear them, and you know, astronomers are, you know, so keen to keep their eyes on the skies and be in tune to that kind of thing. Pekka Hautala is with us. Bergman Scooter. Norview says LAX probably is Bortle 25.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
surface of the sun, LAX. I don't know. It's like, you know, it's hard to tell which is different here. Oh, Pekka says he has heard Northern Lights. I've heard that before. Not that I've heard it
Oh,
before,
that's
but I've
cool.
heard people talk about it before. Terry Mann, who is preparing her collection of Aurora, she goes up to Alaska every year. I don't think she's seen many Aurora, but I don't think she's actually heard one. Bergman Scooter said he heard a meteor explode on Maui years ago. That's cool. Jem Norwood says, I heard a bolide once. It was illuminating the ground as well. It was obviously causing some kind of electromagnetic disturbance around me as the changing sound corresponded directly with the changes in the light intensity. That must be an aurora. No, he says it was a bolide, so I have no idea. Anyways, lots of really cool stories from you guys. We are not doing a global star party tonight because one, I wasn't feeling good. Two, we had a national holiday in the USA, so a lot of our people were trying to spend time with their families instead of trying to get ready for a global star party. So we are doing global star party next Tuesday. It'll be our 96th event, and so we steadily count down towards 100 global star parties. But I did want to come on today and to let you guys know that that's not happening tonight. Kent will be doing, as he just mentioned, tomorrow. He's doing First Light Chronicles, and then and what do you got on the wing program on Thursday?
I haven't put it together yet. We're gonna have some more reader submissions. We had some readers that I haven't gotten anything from them. I don't know if they're getting blocked or not from last week. So I'll have Annie check. She hadn't forwarded me anything to see if we've got anything in Explore Alliance, because I have not seen anything from them in my email. But some more reader submissions. I've got a few more pictures up my sleeve with some beautiful birds, and also going to try, because some highlighting birds that we can see at the Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, Scott. I'm going to try and get pictures, and if they're birds that we may see there, I'm going to make a notation of that, because Arizona Dark Sky Star Party is also a birding event. We're going to have some birders there. We'll have some spotting scopes and binoculars for people to use, and obviously they can bring their own. But we're going to have some birding trails in the park, and we're going to be doing birding as well as everything else, doing Star Party stuff. So it's in the migration will be underway, so birds will be flying south for the winter. So a lot of chance of see birds that won't normally be there will be passing through. So that's going to be a fun addition. We realized we should have done it at the last one back in 2019, I guess it was.
Oh yeah, but we were just learning how to put the star party together.
Yeah,
so.
and we knew birding was out there, but we just didn't take advantage of the situation like we should have. But we're going to this time.
Right. So we'll have a in-person for real on the wing.
Absolutely.
At Arizona Dark Sky Star Party. We've got some great speakers that are going to be there. I just confirmed that Steve Edberg of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory is going to be there, giving a talk, and so I'm excited about that. Vivian White from Night Sky Network is supposed to be there. We have a long list of other speakers. Adam Block is potential for the Star Party, and so it's going to be an amazing event. Dark skies, great, mentors will be there, and we have the Friends of Oracle that are going to be there. They are busy trying to put together a festival around the core event itself, and the festival would include art and music, and so it should be a lot of fun. And then once we're done with Arizona Dark Sky Star Party, we come back, and then on October 7th, we have the Mount Wilson event. I'll be talking more about this in the shows to come, but you can find under our events page the Mount Wilson event itself, and so we're going to be using primarily the 60-inch telescope, but we'll have lectures in the historic museum that's there. We will get a tour and a demonstration, not just, hey, look at this, but a demonstration of the SNO Solar Telescope. And the SNO Telescope was what George Ellery Hale did a lot of work on himself to study the sun and determine, what it's all about. If you don't know, George Ellery Hale built in succession 4 of the world's largest telescopes, but his passion was studying the sun and doing, looking at spectrums of the sun itself. So this solar telescope is huge, and and still works to this very day, even though it's quite old. And so they'll show that. I know that there are undergrads that use it. Beatrice Hines just wanted to say to you, Ken, I still haven't sent you new bird pictures because I'm a bit overwhelmed with work and other things. But as soon as I can, I'll get them out to you. So.
We appreciate that. We understand how it is. We all face that in some form, fashion. So that's okay, Beatrice. When you get to them, we'll love to have them. Thank you for thinking about us.
Okay.
Yeah. So Scott, we've already sold some tickets, right, for Mount Wilson. It went up.
We sold some tickets to Mount Wilson. It was up only a few minutes. I know that Mike Wiesner bought some. So thank you, Mike. But this is a really limited engagement. Only 25 people can go to the Mount Wilson event. That's their limit. So if you're thinking about it, here, let me just find the page here real quick for you.
Why do we limit it, Scott?
Mount Wilson does. Mount Wilson limits it because of restrictions of how many people can be inside the dome. So that's the deal. Let me find it. And then, okay, so we'll go to the observatory. We'll have lectures in the museum itself, and then on Saturday we are going to the Jewel of San Marino, the Huntington Library. And the Huntington Library is this 130-acre estate that was once owned by Henry Huntington, and Henry Huntington was this train magnate that was into fine art. He was into, he amassed probably the largest library of European manuscripts and stuff like that outside of Europe. And so there's millions of manuscripts there. Books, manuscripts from like Ptolemy and Audubon and just name the names, Darwin. That's all going on. They did have a science portion of that library. Okay, which actually I've only seen part of, because they'll bring out books and stuff like that with, historical star maps and stuff like that, which is totally cool to look at. But that part is not open for this particular thing. But that's actually a very small reason to go, oh shucks, because the library, the botanical gardens of the Huntington Library are unbelievable. There's this giant desert garden that they have. They have a bamboo forest. They have a Japanese garden. They have a Chinese garden. It's spectacular. And so if you go to Huntington, I think it's just huntington.org, you can see that. But let's take you to...
Scott, you spent a lot of time there, right? You just
I was
gone
a member for years
and just sat there in one spot and just soaked it all in, right?
Oh, it's just you could go to that place and just hang out in one little area and spend the whole day there. So you can't. Unfortunately, you will not be able to really take it all in with one visit. But definitely something you should check into yourself. Let's see. Here it is. You guys can tell me if this link doesn't work. There we go. Martin Eastburn, yes, it's always like Mike and Scott says. It's out of this world, and it even has the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, so Martin, you've been there. The newfound ones. Research is still going on. Dad worked there after retirement in translations. Oh, that's totally cool.
Wow.
Yeah. There's just like I have not been to any other place like it in the world. And I've been to, going to museums is kind of one of my things I like to do. So I've been to, the historical museum, and I think it was London, and that was amazing. It was. I mean, I got to see the Rosetta Stone and all the rest of it. But the Huntington Library is definitely someplace, once you've gone, you will go back to, even if you have to travel a long distance. So, but anyhow, Jeff says he just bought a ticket. That's great. Now, something else I'm putting up on the site is if you want a guided tour through the Huntington, if you know the Huntington or you just want to be on your own, a lot of people like to do that. That's one deal. I think it'll cost $20 more to get a guided tour. So I'll be putting up that page as well. You'll see a link to it, and you can do that. But we will feed you lunch when you go to Mount Wilson because you're kind of isolated up there, and we're going to make it fun. And we always provide like commemorative items and stuff like that. You'll get a certificate signed by the telescope operator and perhaps even the director of Mount Wilson Observatory. Basically, we anoint you a Mount Wilson astronomer for the day. So that's kind of cool and fun.
And so, Scott, how long are we going to be? Is this an all-nighter? Or
well, effectively,
how's it going to work?
I mean, it runs, from sunset to 1 in the morning. So.
And so we were talking about, let me get my list here. We were talking about what's going to be up, and this is going to be a planetary journey. It looks like we'll be looking at Pluto, which, if miniature schnauzers are still schnauzers, then Pluto's still a planet, right?
You're right.
So,
that's right. Even if it's a miniature or dwarf one, right?
Right,
So,
it's still a planet. So, okay.
planet. It's still a world.
So Pluto sets at 11, so we'll probably hit Pluto first.
Right.
And then Uranus rises at sunset, Saturn transits at 8:30, Mars rises at 9, Neptune transits at 10:30, Jupiter transits at 11:15, Betelgeuse rises at 10:30, so we might be able to look at M42. It'll be, what would that going to be? If right at the end, say at 1, we're looking at, it'll be up 15, 30, 35, 40 degrees. And then there's some other planetary nebula and other goodies we're going to have on the list as well. So it's going to be a planetary extravaganza.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a feast.
Oh,
I've used that telescope many times. And the thing, and I've seen all kinds of stuff with it. I've seen like globular clusters in 31. I've seen, tons of faint nebula, faint galaxies, stuff like that through it. But the thing that just sticks out in my mind, is etched in my brain, is the view of Saturn through the 60-inch telescope with so much detail. Because the skies there, it's not a guarantee, and there's never a guarantee of this, but the skies up there, Mount Wilson was picked because of how steady the sky can get. And so I've been up there on more than one occasion when there was, arc second or sub-arc second seeing conditions. And it just, Saturn doesn't even look real anymore. It looks like it's computer generated or something because of how much detail there is, beautiful. You're going to see, on a night like that, you're going to see Encke and Cassini's division. You're going to see what looks like spokes in the rings, the moons. It's not going to be a mistake. You're not going to go, is that a star or is that a moon? You're going to go, that's a moon. Okay, you can see roundness to it. Okay,
that's a moon.
That's a moon.
So not a disc, but you can see roundness. You can see 3 dimensions. Right. The effect of 3 dimensions. Wow.
Yeah, and if we get a great night like that, I mean, Jupiter also will blow your mind. Looking at the moon itself, we're going to get a great look at many features on the moon through a mirror that's 5 feet across. Okay, you're going to see like gentle rolling hills. You're going to see craters within craters within craters. I mean, just that also is mind blowing. Kent and I were talking about it earlier, and yeah, it's going to be bright, but it's not going to hurt your night vision. It's just reflected sunlight. So, well, I said it wouldn't hurt your night vision. It might for a little while, okay? We're probably best to leave the moon for last, so out of that, out of all those things. But it's going to be spectacular. When you walk up there, before you get to the telescope, as we approach the stairs, I'm going to direct everybody's attention to look at the lockers, okay? The lockers are the genuine, real, unretouched, unupgraded, unfettered, unmolested lockers that were used by Hubble, Walter Baade, the greats of astronomy. And so so that is that's the thing. And so Pekka says, do you have a link with all the important details like ticket price, how-tos, and so on? And then he said he found it. So Pekka, that would be awesome to see you at Mount Wilson, and I know that you would love it. So anyways, but we're going to make it fun. It's going to be interesting. I wrote it's going to be intellectually stimulating, and that it is. We will take you to where Einstein stood to have his picture taken at the monastery up at Mount Wilson. You are going to get an experience that you're going to remember for the rest of your life. So that's the deal. Anything else from you, Ken?
I'm looking forward to all these trips. It's going to be October, Scott. I have an astronomy event every weekend in October.
Do you really? Yeah.
The calendar is full for October. We've got
September is full. We got Starmus, so we'll go to Europe. Well, I will. I will be going.
Darn it! I hope you had a surprise for me there, dadgummit. Yeah, you've got Starmus. Yeah.
And then I'll turn right back around and be heading out to Arizona for that, and then we're going to turn right back around and go to Mount Wilson for that. So, yeah. So I just have to go to Starmus once and taste the food and make sure you don't get poisoned.
I appreciate your concern, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. Somebody's got to do that. So
taking care of me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Anyways,
that would be a spendy trip right there.
I think so. Carl Petrich says he's reading the book The Last Stargazers now. A great, well-written book. Hopefully we don't consider our generation to be the last stargazers. I think that that there's some challenges with light pollution. There's challenges with all these swarms of satellites. These kinds of things, but I think that amateur astronomy will prevail. So
it's going to change. It's going to evolve, absolutely,
as it always has. It
used to be all we had was transit telescopes. All you could do is raise the elevation of where it pointed in the sky due south, and you got to study whatever it was that moved through the eyepiece, and that was it. So,
well, did you see? You must have seen this before. Huygens and his aerial refractors, which basically they had like a long pole and they hung a refractive lens on one end.
Yes, I've seen drawings.
And then, way down there, I don't know how long these things were, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever it was, and they had the eyepiece on the other end, and so I just have a very difficult time. I would feel like I'd climb Mount Everest or something if I had successfully pointed this thing at the thing I wanted to observe, so. But astronomy didn't used to be easy at all, and it took special people to do that. These days, amateur astronomy is easier than it ever was, but there's still a learning curve, and that's why you have a community like the one that we support here, and the communities of the Royal Astronomical Society. Canada is another one that's regularly on our programs, and of course the Astronomical League, and all their programs. But yeah, you can get into the front row of looking at the universe by knowing what you're looking at, and having good enough gear to get you where you're going. So, but I think that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.